Hey everyone, just coming back from class right now. Um, yeah, shoot, I'm exhausted, but it was a good class today. I went a few days ago as well, but I didn't make I made the video for it, but I didn't release it. It just didn't feel right. So essentially, giving an update from the last time I went. I think I went around Thursday or something like that. I didn't really feel like going, and I ended up going to class. And I think the last few days I felt under the weather slightly, just a little lower energy, whatnot. But I ended up going to class on Thursday, and when I went, it was just me. Like I was the only student, and so the professor, who was like, the teacher of the class, was a black belt, and we ended up just rolling one-on-one the whole class. And as you could guess, like it was a good class. I learned a lot. But I definitely got submitted a bunch of times. It's very dominant. Like I there's not as much that I could do, but I was still trying to learn as much as I could. I even took a video of that class, which I should check out. And yeah, something that I learned, like I made the video after that, and I was kind of just thinking about, like, and when I'm in that situation, how do I make the most of it? Like, not every situation is gonna be a slam dunk where I just find my flow and I can find the right positions and be dominant and win. Like, that feels good, but not every situation is gonna be like that. However, I have to be able to learn and grow from every situation, right? That's the purpose of it. That's the purpose of that situation even happening in the first place. So essentially, like, I got home and I was thinking about it a bit. Like, I was a little confused, I think talking about it on video helped a bit, but I was a little bit confused, thinking, what could I do? How could I think about it? How could I think about how I felt in that moment? Because I felt, like I'd been dominated, like it wasn't the best feeling. And then I came home and I was talking to my girl about it, and she said something really interesting. She kind of broke it down for me. So the thing that she said was, when you think about the universe and the energy, like the reality is that we're all one. That energy that flows in me flows in other people, it flows in the rest of the universe. The universe is within me, and like the universe is also outside of me. Like, everything is one thing. So when I'm fighting someone, and it's not me fighting that person, that brings up the element of ego, and that's an illusion. It's really just me fighting myself and me learning from myself. I'm using the other person's movements to help myself, because it's all one thing at the end of the day. And she put it way more beautifully, but I think that's pretty much what she said. And then she said, like, yeah, like today, you lost a lot in the sense of you got submitted, but maybe the universe was teaching you that your ego was like too high, and that clicked the bulb in me, that lit a switch in me, that lit a light bulb in me. Because that made me realize, like, oh shit, like, it made me realize, probably the reason of that class, and the thing that I could really take away from it the most, and the reason for failing, and stuff like that. And I think taking that into account, the last few days, I was under the weather. Today, I was still feeling a little under the weather, but I was like, energetic enough where I knew I could go to class. And even when I was going, like right before, I was trying to convince myself not to go, just because like I hadn't gone for a couple of days. I was like, I don't really feel like it. But I was like, in one hand, like, in one like way, I thought about it a couple of different ways, and in one way, I realized that if I want my future to be full of jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai training, if I want to go every day, then I have to have that same spirit and mentality right now. So it doesn't matter if I'm tired. the only way to go in the future when I'm tired, as I envisioned that I would, is to do it in the moment and to do it right now. So that partially, was one of the reasons that motivated me to go. That I was just like, you know what, let me just break it down step by step. I would decide if I want to go, but let me first take a shower. Just breaking it. And then like after a shower, I was like, okay, I feel refreshed. I feel woken up. Now I feel like I can go. And then I stepped out the house. And it was like, by the time I stepped out the house, I knew I was going to go. That's all I really needed to do. So I'm glad that I went today. And I could feel it. Like, I think partially me not going to class and also me just recovering, I didn't feel like I was at 100%. But I tried to be as observant as I could during the class, trying to understand like the best way I could manage. I was like, okay, like I just need to have a lot of willpower in this situation. That's what I'm being tested on. Like that's why I can work on at least when I'm feeling tired. So I was trying to be more observant with things that I could improve on. And I try to bring it back to what my girl said, like it's not you fighting someone else. And if you think about like, whatever you want to call it, like framing your mindset or like manifesting whatever it is, if you create your end goal to be like, I'm gonna be a professional fighter, and I'm gonna be great at what I do, then the steps in the way make more sense, if that makes sense. Like I can understand both the rationale from what's happening right now and like also what I can learn from it and best perceive from it. So today it's like sometimes you get in your head, it's like you get submitted by someone, your ego acts up and it's like, fuck, like I feel like a champion wouldn't be getting submitted like this, whatever. You get all these kind of BS thoughts, but in reality I feel like the universe is really trying to teach me something. And in this case often it's like understanding like killing my ego, like murdering that, because that's what I need to do to grow. That reminds me of one of the stories that I was learning, like and I heard it multiple times this weekend, just in random places, like in reading it and through some talk. So it kind of popped up, oh, it's a little cat, what's up? But it was the idea that like, it was like the observing of a tree and what we can learn from that, and the seed specifically. When the seed goes in the land, like it has to go through multiple barriers and obstacles. Like it's a tiny seed, but it has massive stones over it that it needs to, overcome. And at first it's like, okay, I'm a tiny seed. How the hell can I get through these obstacles and grow through this and become a tree? But once the seed realizes like that it needs to get rid of its own ego and shell, and it like breaks apart to allow itself to sprout, like it really breaks its shell to sprout, it needs to do that to grow, and it finds a way through the rocks, and from there it grows into a tree. And it's just like, that's so inspiring, so that's the mindset I'm trying to have. I'm home now, but yeah, that's my video for today. See ya.